Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, that ball did not want to get in the goal in the second half, man. I mean, that was so frustrating. That second half. I know that, we shouldn't focus too much on the problem of us not scoring in the second half because let's face it, it was a bit too little, too late. And as one of our friends here is saying, Napoli is finito. But you still have to feel frustrated about how that second half went. I mean, they were not clear cut chances. It was a lot of long distance shots. It was a lot of very, very nice crosses or crosses from very good positions inside the box or towards the box, but ultimately it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough in the end. There wasn't enough. I can't find the words today, man. I really can't. I really can't. And that's something that frustrates me. I just feel like there wasn't enough anger and desire in this Napoli team until maybe the 70th minute, 75th minute, and then in the last 15 minutes, you know, everything kind of changed. But it's too little, it's too late, and the mistakes that we did were just way too much. Especially defensively, we let Milan slice through us. They do this every single time. We always let Leao go right through us, or in this case, Theo Hernandez for the goal, and we paid the price, guys. If you have not yet watched the video that I released this morning, please take a look at it. Do it for me. I spent like 8 hours on that. Yes, I did. So take a look at that video. Smash the like button on that video if you haven't already done so. And I am very tired today, so it's not going to be a long live. So don't worry, guys. You'll make it to your bedtime. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we didn't win. Um, I'm frustrated about that, and so yeah, that's gonna be the case. And today, I just kind of wanna chat this out with you guys. Less analysis, less technical analysis, and more just kind of chatting it with you guys. So what I'll do actually is I will start the slideshow now, get it out of the way, and then we can chat a little bit more right afterwards once we've all seen the key parts of the stream. Can we fire Mazzari? This season is over. I don't want to see this bum again. Your video was amazing. Thanks, man, about the video. Guys, I mean, honest question, like, would you rather have Mazzari or take back Garcia? So would you rather? I love would you rather questions. People that know me know that. Mazzarri or Garcia. All right. I mean, Garcia is the, how do you say it? The guy that started it all, the problem. I mean, sure, there's issues from De Laurentiis and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what that guy did to this team, to the group of players, unforgivable. At the same time, we've got Mazzarri, who is not able to extract the best out of this team. He's tinkering. This was the first time we really played a 3-5-1-1. Other times it was a 3-5-2. So this is the first time we have three at the back or five at the back and Kvara down the middle. But anyways, Kvara was playing this, um, a very hybrid number 10 role in the first half. Then we switched to a 4-3-3 in the second and went back to the left. And I liked him in both cases. I think that shows just the talent that he has. L. Cases Dom, I personally thank you for that video. Very much appreciated, and thank you so much for the donation, man. That means a lot that you watched the video because I did it for you because you asked me in the previous live. So yeah. You see, guys, I listen to you. I listen to what you have to say. I'm a man of the people, unlike someone um, whose names starts or whose initial starts with ADL. He's not so much someone for the people. Let's go into this comment. No reason for Ngonj not to play. Yeah, I really didn't like the fact that he came on so late. Same thing with Lindstrom who came on late. I mean, like the two guys. I hate it when coaches do that. Why is it that the two guys that did so well in the past game that have no fitness issues, why do you not build on that momentum? For me, that's crazy. That's just crazy for me. So yeah, let's go into just like what happened in the game. I don't have many slides, but this was a first great piece of action by Napoli. Simeone, like against Verona, made some great runs, but at the end of the day, you know, making the run and beating the defender is only 50% of the job. The other 50% is to put it in the back of the net. And he's not able to do that. I mean, would his own father, guys, would his own father play Simeone as a starting striker in his own team? The answer is no. He's not good enough for these levels. He can come on as a substitute if, we're in a dire situation. Fine. In that case, he actually is a very good impact sub. But as a starter, I don't know. We can't rely on someone that does this. Obviously, there's a reason why he's starting. Osimhen is at AFCON. AFCON, guys, by the way, Nigeria. Oof, I was just watching the game there. Crazy, crazy as well. They lost in the final minutes of that AFCON. And Nigeria are going to be very disappointed with themselves. Osimhen doesn't walk away with the AFCON, so all that was because of nothing. Do you know how much I'm annoyed at that? I have this water bottle. I'm just gonna squish this water bottle in frustration that Osimhen missed like 2 months of football and doesn't even come back with something to show for it. I can't even be personally happy for Osimhen because I like Osimhen. I want him to be happy. I want him to do well, but he didn't win. So there's nothing to be happy about, and he just left us for 2 months. It's it's not good. It's not good. I don't like it. I don't like this situation. Um, Dom, what makes us think Osimhen will save our season? He is in top 10 scores in Serie A this season, and he scored one time in all of AFCON. Safe to say he's out of form. That's also true. That's also true. But, I mean, he is better than Raspadori and Simeone, right? I mean, I don't expect anyone to save Napoli this season. Guys, we are sitting ninth in the table. We're sitting ninth. We're 7 points behind Atalanta. What's saving? What else is there that can be done this season with this coach, with this group of players, with this climate around us, of De Laurentiis and everything? I think it's going to be difficult, and I think everybody's just waiting for next season. And you know, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. If Well, no, I do. What am I saying? I do blame them. It is partially their fault. I was gonna say I don't blame them for this because of all the things that's happened in the background with the De Laurentiis and the coach. But at the same time, these players are the ones getting on the field, and they're the ones missing these opportunities. So yeah, to some extent, I do also blame some of these players. They're not playing as well as they did last year. And then here, there was moments in the first half that I thought we were playing actually pretty well. And until that Milan goal in the 25th minute, I think Napoli was the better team. Then Milan was the better team from the 25th minute to the 45th, and then again it was Napoli, and that's frustrating because it's like that every time that we are just not able to capitalize on us being the better team, and other teams just need, their first chance to score on us. Here, there was an opportunity for us to put Milan under pressure on the counter, and it just didn't really happen. And that's kind of what I am confused about actually with this whole 3-5-1-1. I mean, people that play with three or five at the back, um, these type of teams are teams that like to counter and have the ability to counter. And we didn't see any counters from Napoli, or not enough counters, in my opinion, from Napoli. So I don't think we utilized that module to its full extent. Um, Big chances, but no medium chances. We can't win literally anything. Yeah. Let's go back to some earlier comments. L.K says you want to shut down Kvara, bring in Politano, job done. I mean, clearly, like, when it was just Kvara on the field, then all the Napoli chances fall to the feet of Kvara just because he's the most attacking guy out there before, before Raspadori or Simeone. Like, apart from the number nine, right? He's the more creative type. Clearly, you put Politano on the field, and all of a sudden, these two guys have to start sharing the chances. But I don't think that Politano played badly. I think, actually Politano had better opportunities today than Kvara. He was closer to scoring with his shots than Kvara was today. Even though Kvara played better with his dribbling and everything, like, Politano did give us something good. So, um, yeah. So yeah, that was frustrating. Anyways, this was frustrating. We didn't capitalize on our chances, and then we get to the Milan goal. And the Milan goal, guys, I want to just spend a bit of time analyzing this, and then we can move on. So this passage of play with Teo Hernandez passing it to Giroud, who steps in the gap in the middle of the field, and then he passes it to Leao, and Leao closes the, let's say, the triangle with Teo Hernandez coming into the area there. Now, guys, this is something that Milan does all the time. They literally have one person who you have to watch out for, or two people you have to watch out for, Leao and Teo Hernandez, right? And there's no excuse for Teo Hernandez to be starting in that position and beating four Napoli players to be the first to arrive on the ball that Leao gives. I know he's fast, but Lobotka is just sleeping. Guys, Lobotka is just sleeping. Sorry. Lobotka is just sleeping here. He's ball watching. He's not looking at Teo Hernandez's run, and lets Teo Hernandez just fly past him. Another thing is, why does Rachmani do this? There's, like, he left such a big gap between Juan Jesus and Ostigard. The whole point of having five at the back or three at the back is that you remain compact. Go take a look, for example. I was looking the other day, yesterday, at the game between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern. While I was preparing my video that I did this morning, I had Bayern and Bayer Leverkusen in the background, and I noticed that the Xabi Alonso, Bayer Leverkusen, the way they play is also five at the back when they're defending, but they're super compact, and nobody steps out of position like this, leaving such a huge gap behind them. Why is Rahmani doing that? There's no need to be doing this. Like, the only reason you should be stepping out is if you're gonna actually win the ball. If you don't win the ball, you're just exposed something behind you. And for me, he's literally the worst defender that we have. He is below Juan Jesus, below Ostigard, and below Nathan, and yet it seems to me like he's the only untouchable, just because he was the starter last year. But I mean, I could play center back next to Kim, all right? And I have a bad ACL, and I could probably do a better job. Like, he's not a good defender. He's just not. And without Kim leading him, he's getting exposed. And last year, maybe, you know, Kim would have been in Juan Jesus' position or in Ossigar's position, like the other center back's position, and he would have understood the danger and covered for Rahmani. But this team doesn't have that kind of intelligent player or a player that's quick enough like Kim to cover that kind of space. And so whenever Rahmani does something stupid like this, leaving such a huge gap behind him, it gets exploited because no one's there to cover for him. So I don't know if you guys noticed that too, but that's something that really really bothered me as well. And then, I mean, again, here, this is look at look at this moment where Lobotka is looking at Leao. He's looking at Leao, and he's not aware of Teo Hernandez making the run because 1 second later, Teo Hernandez is there. Guys, how does this happen? How do you lose that much space? Clearly Lobotka has no idea what's happening behind him. And, I love the player. He's so intelligent. But how many times have we played against Milan and someone has gone right through our midfield? Last year it was Brahim Diaz, it was Leao. This year it's Teo Hernandez. It happens every single time. And I'm so sick of playing against Milan, guys. It's like there's one thing you got to do, not leave any spaces, and they keep leaving spaces. Unfortunately, looking like we may have to start hoping for fifth and that Italy gets 5 UCL spots, says Napoli Nation TV. Yeah, fifth place maybe has to be the target, which means that we rely on Lazio, Inter, and ourselves doing really well in the Champions League, guys. Uh, Lazio probably is going to get eliminated against Bayern. Let's just hope they can somehow manage to get a draw or something somewhere, maybe in their home game. And for us, I mean, luckily we're up against Barcelona and not against, Man City or anything like that. So who knows what happens with us? But honestly, I did say in past streams that I I thought we could have, at least a 50-50 chance against them, but having looked at this game, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we have enough fire inside of us. Aaron says Rahmani has to follow the man. It's Juan Jesus who needs to shift. But Juan Jesus, Rahmani needs to know who he's playing with. I would agree that you shift, but that gap was way too big for Juan Jesus to cover that up. And you have to know that Juan Jesus doesn't have the speed to close that kind of gap. And then if Juan Jesus shifts, then Mazzocchi needs to shift, and Gisar probably would need to come. There's a lot of people that would need to shift, and that all starts with the chain reaction of Rahmani being out of position or stepping in. The only time I think a defender should step in is if you know you have someone to cover you behind or if you know you're going to get the ball. But if you're just going to follow someone and do neither and not, then don't do it. Don't do it. So yeah, that was the goal. And then Golini's position, he was a bit out of position. I think to be fair, if this was Meret, we would be hearing a lot more about this. But Golini has a lot more support than Meret. And yeah, he's a bit out of position. Clearly, I mean, yeah. I don't know what he was doing. I think he must have been a bit distracted because he's objectively 2 steps off where he should be, probably. So I'm not really sure what he was doing. And then in the second half, guys, we had so many shots. Simeone, Politano, Anguissa. I'm not gonna name them all. There was also this chance here with Kvara. He goes past Kjaer, Calabria, then it comes flying in and gets the better of Kvara. And we keep saying, or we keep hearing people say, Kvara versus Calabria, Kvara versus Calabria. But in the end of the day, like, you know, he is a good match for Kvara. He does make life difficult for him. And yeah, yeah, only one third of viewers have liked it. What you doing, bro? I know, guys. I know, guys. I made a live Friday night. I prepared a video Saturday night. I'm here Sunday night, and you guys are not showing me the love, man. What do I have to do with you guys? What do I have to do with you guys? I sacrificed my entire weekend for you, and I don't even get 100% likes. Not good enough. Not good enough, guys. I'm kidding. Don't like it if you don't want to like it. It's fine, you know. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. But do it. Yeah. All right. So a few good chances in the second half, but ultimately in the second half, what I want to talk about is that why are we waiting until the 75th minute, for Lindstrom to come on, and then Ngonja comes on a bit later. Too little, too late. Like these are guys that, as we said earlier, they're in form. They did well against Verona, and actually, it was Lindstrom that produced Napoli's biggest chance in the second half. I mean, he crossed the ball, but it was an awkward cross to deal with, and the ball hit the post and went out. And yeah, I mean, unlucky for Napoli, but we probably deserved the draw. To be fair, like imagine us being Milan fans, right? Like we would be saying that Milan didn't produce enough, probably. So we would also be complaining, like we would be complaining even as Milan fans, and that's why I feel like a draw would have been the better result. Kvara, Lindstrom, and Gonja Oshi should be the main attack. Yeah. Oh, happy birthday, Maximus. I sacrificed my birthday to watch Napoli lose. Man, the sacrifices we're all making, right? To see Napoli lose is crazy. Let it ruin your day. Yeah. What was great in Napoli's Scudetto version, they were scoring in the first 20 minutes. That's also true. We were killing games early. And uh, to be honest, like that, that, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there was so much that was different though. But overall, I think the reason why we were also scoring earlier was also just because of the intensity that we brought to the game, right? I think we just don't have the intensity. We're not reading the game. We're not like the Milan goal. You just let someone run right by you. No intensity. It wasn't Calabria, bro. It was Florenzi. That's true. It was Florenzi. My bad. My bad. It was Florenzi flying in. Either way, man. Either way, I mean, the point still stands that these right backs against Kvara, uh, the Milan right backs against Kvara, I mean, Calabria must have passed his notes on to Florenzi, because if there's one team that he doesn't, you know, um, perform to his maximum potential with, it must be Milan out of all the teams. Let's see some other comments. Labotka is small. We need more physical big players against a team like Milan. That could also be true. That could also be true. I just feel like we need some, but I mean, not necessarily, right? We just need someone that knows not to leave that kind of gap behind. But, um, or maybe we do need someone more physical. Maybe we do need a guy like Kessi, in the middle of the field that really, really like gives you that filter and doesn't let anything get past. Mike, man, thank you for the $2 donation. I like Engonj. Yeah, 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 yeah. I really do as well. I'm surprised he didn't get more minutes today. I really don't know where that came from, the fact that he didn't get that many minutes. I really thought that Mazzari would have used the positive momentum and given him more time, but apparently not. Midfield failed Dom. In the first half, neither Zielinski or Ngisa could pass the ball. Politano came out to satisfy his ego. Ooh, that's a good one. Juan Jesus is below average. Is Politano out there to satisfy his ego? I feel like he's out there to score, like he's he was literally like this close from scoring with one of his shots. So I don't know what the hate is on, why there is so much hate on Politano, to be honest. I mean, his shots were the closest ones to goal. So I really don't know why there's so much hate on Politano. I don't I'm not like in love with the guy, but I don't hate him as much as what some of the fans think. But hey, this is a democratic environment where everybody has a different opinion, and that's why I do these live chats, because if I just do a video where I say this is what I think of this player and what I think of this player, that's a very biased video. But here, I'm exposing all sorts of views, and so some people might agree and some people might not, and we'll discuss it. um Let's see. Lobotka cannot make a pass longer than 2 meters, and if he did that, the pass goes backwards. Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues with Lobotka. Actually, at one point in the game, he did a long pass towards Kvara, and I was like, "What? He did a long pass? He did a forward diagonal pass? Lobotka? Are you serious?" Um, and I think that's something that I also didn't like about Jorginho. Jorginho was very similar to Lobotka, very short passes. I really love players that can ping the ball over, like the Pirlos and all that, the Gerrard and the Lampard of back in the day. These are the midfielders that you grow up to love. And Lobotka very good at his quick short passing, very good at escaping the pressure. But teams nowadays, they know not to pressure Lobotka, right? So he's not able to show that quality nowadays, and so one of his biggest strengths now is not being used by Napoli. And so that's dented Napoli a lot this year, actually, because last year we were able to kind of beat one or two players just with Lobotka's kind of, shoulder to the left and go right kind of thing. But nowadays teams know not to do that. And so all of a sudden we have to figure out another way to get past those same players. And the thing is like, if teams are not going to put pressure on Lobotka, then is it worth having Lobotka on the field? Because maybe he's not contributing enough with other aspects of this game. Like, is he giving you assists? No. Is he giving you goals? No. So do we need to start questioning Lobotka's place in this team? Not because he's a bad player, but just because people have figured out how to play against Lobotka. So that's a very interesting observation. And it's one of the many reasons why Napoli is worse off this year than last year. Um, and he's not good defensively either. That, I wonder, like, he has quite a high rate of interceptions, actually, like ball recovery. But definitely in this game, he wasn't good defensively because he lost his man. He's not the best at tracking back his man. Um, Raspadori is great, but isn't played in the right position. But what is Raspadori's position? MFDL80 says, "You're doing a fantastic job. Thanks for these analysis. You're welcome, man." Um, Jorginho was good, but most of his traction came from Sarri. Yeah, it's a little bit like that, like there are some of these players that are very much, you know, dependent. Their performance is very much dependent on the on the coach, on the style of play of the coach. Napoli Nation TV, as he said, in the video that I did together with the fans where he talked about Politano. He says Politano is just too limited, then he doesn't get his bread and butter on goal. Yeah. And you mentioned this in that video that he's just too limited. And I think that's kind of why I'm a bit upset with the renewal of Politano. Not because he's a bad player, but just because we're renewing a player that we know has limits and kind of big limits, right? Because he is very limited in what he has to offer, right? And so I don't mind him playing now because that's what we have, that's what we've got. But why are we insisting on him for the future? I have no idea. And I don't really like that aspect of it. So yeah, let's go to the player ratings, guys. So Napoli was playing with a 3-5-1-1 in the first half, and this, you know, there's too many layers with the 3-5-1-1. So Simeone's head is out of the field, you know. But it is what it is. Otherwise, I would have had to make everybody smaller, and I couldn't be bothered, you know. I wasn't gonna do that. Uh, so just accept the fact that Simeone's head is not on the field. Okay, I know some of you have OCD. Just put that to the side. Put your medical condition to the side for 5 minutes, please, um, and just accept it, guys. I'm joking. Anyways, right. There's a lot of different comments here on the chat. I'm reading some of them. So, Danger says Kvara 7. Let's go, my boy. Yeah, I thought Kvara was good. You know, he was the one that was dribbling, creating chances. I think he lacked a bit of end product at times. But you know, if Simeone had scored that goal at the start of the first half, then he would have had an assist. So then you can't say that he lacks end product. If his end product depends on other people, you know, scoring easy chances. Mazzarri 4.5 for me because I think the subs that he made, they came on too late, and I didn't like his approach to not go and attack Milan right from the start with a 4-3-3. I feel like the 3/5 at the back was a nice solution in the Super Cup where you can, as I said before in those games, you can get a 0-0 and then try to win it on penalties, right? It's a cup. Why not do that? But in the Serie A, where we need to recover some points, I think playing defensive formations is not the right approach. We need to start recovering some points. We don't need formations that are, you know, ideal for 0-0s. You know, these are formations that are born for 0-0s. And if you are going to do this and adapt it to a winning team like what Inter does, because Inter also play with 3 or 5 at the back, you need players in attack that are very quick and very good midfielders that can launch people in those counterattacks. Like you have Chalanoglu and Barella for Inter that just, you know, send the ball over to Turam and Lautaro Martinez. You need the ball to be traveling quickly, and those guys are quick. But for Napoli, you can't play 5 at the back and then give the ball to Lobotka, and then Lobotka only does a pass that's 2 meters. Then you're not counter-attacking, and you're not, you know, you're defending too much and not attacking enough. And that's not what Napoli needs right now. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest issue that I see with this formation is that we don't have, I think, the midfielders to properly play with it. Thank you, White Wisdom, for the $4.99, man. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you know, if you have anything to say on the match. I would, I would appreciate your insight. Um, Dom Raspadori is a shadow striker. Yeah, he Raspadori could ideally play in that position that Kvara is in. Um, but I don't know. He's a player a bit like Elmas, I'm afraid. He's like that guy that you want to put on because he's talented, but you don't really know where, and then he gets frustrated that he's not playing in a certain position consistently, and and then you just gotta let him go because he's frustrated and he's like, I don't want to sit on the bench all my life. And this is kind of the problem with a lot of number 10s lately in football because let's face it, guys, number 10 position is kind of dead right now. Everyone's playing 4-3-3 or 3-5-2, and there just isn't any space for number 10s anymore. Um, so, yeah, I mean, Kvara was playing there in the first half, but Kvara is able to naturally go a bit more on the left, and that's why he's much more useful to this team. Right, let's go to some of the other. And guys, by the way, what I want you to notice here is also this, right? Excluding Kvara, that whole spine of the team, from Golini to Rachmani to Lobotka to then Simeone at the top, that whole spine of the team didn't play well. Golini was out of position, Rachmani struggled with his positioning. Lobotka didn't follow his man. Simeone wasn't scoring. So when you have your spine that's not working, I think that's always going to be tough. Then you've got the other midfielders, Anguissa and Zielinski. They didn't do too well either. Probably I could give a 5.5 to Anguissa as well, just because they don't provide anything going forward that much. But I do think that I've seen some progress with Anguissa. At least he's trying to take some shots now. Like Zielinski, we saw absolutely nothing today. Like I think he's completely checked out, honestly. Um, and then Mazzocchi and Giovanni Di Lorenzo. Some of you are saying Mazzocchi could even be a bit higher. But honestly, like you're like he needs to I think, give us something concrete. Now he's been playing for a month or two. Di Lorenzo as well needs to give us something concrete. I mean, there was a point in the first half, like the first cross that Di Lorenzo did, and it hits the first man, and I can predict that so accurately. Like he never gets past the first man. It's absolutely crazy. And you take a look at our fullbacks, and then you take a look at Teo Hernandez, who's doing all this crazy thing, going up and assisting and scoring, and then you're like, ah, man, and our guys, can't even cross the ball properly. So, Zelu's replacement is supposed to be Traore, which we haven't seen so far. Yeah, guys, Traore. I don't know at what point his fitness is, but clearly he's doing like this whole personalized recovery because he was out for a long time, then he had malaria. But I think in the very little that he could have shown Mazzarri in training in the last 2 weeks, he must have showed him something quite good for Mazzarri to say, you know what? By the time we play the second match against Barcelona in March, I would rather have this guy than Zielinski. You know? I mean, if Traore was bad, Mazzarri, even though there's the whole thing of Zielinski to Inter and all that kind of stuff, Mazzarri would have just said, no, give me Zielinski. But Traore must have shown at least something positive in training for Mazzarri to agree to put him ahead of Zielinski in the squad. So yeah, let's go to the press conference, guys, and then we're gonna wrap up this live. It's slightly shorter than the other ones, but honestly, I'm super tired. I'm super. The video, honestly, um, I didn't expect the video of the what do you call it? The De Laurentiis thing to take so long, but there was 2 hours of transcript, and then I knew that I had to only pick the best 6 or 7 things to talk about, and it just took me forever. And I don't know, I was really tired. I went to bed late, and then guys, and then I want to show you something before we get to the press conference. Can I show you something? All right, I know you're all here to talk about the game, but I really want to show you something very cool that I have been working on. Let's find it. Let's find it. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys because I'm proud of this. So let's see how I can do it. One sec. No, just so that you guys know, just so that you guys know the amount of effort that goes into the Napoli talk predictor game. So one second, let me do a window capture here. One sec. Yeah, let's put that. All right, guys. I was working the other day on this thing, and it's crazy. Like there's this whole macro that's happening in the background, guys. One sec, let me show you. Because these are the things that I have to. One second, I have to sign in. One second, guys. But wait, that requires a password, so I can't show that to you guys. But one second. I will do that later. Let's do the Mazzari press conference. All right. I'll show you guys later. I wanted to show you guys my code. Um, but never mind. I'll do it another time. We're gonna waste too much time. There's like 1,000 lines of code. I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know if there's any coders in here, but there's this whole macro. It's 1,000 lines. And I had to do that this weekend because I needed to optimize it and everything. Um, so I've been doing a lot of work this weekend on Napoli Talk. It's been my Napoli Talk weekend with all those lives and videos. And yeah, I'm just super tired now. Let's see what Mazzari had to say, guys. So Mazzarri says um, it was very predictable. The Teo Hernandez thing that he did right in the middle, his run in the middle. We prepared all week on that, and so we should have been way more careful about it. Otherwise, Milan wouldn't have even had one shot on goal. It's not the formation that matters, but it's the fact that Milan in the second half kind of went down in energy, and so we were able to apply more pressure to them, but it has nothing to do with going back to the 4-3-3. Then they say, Napoli hasn't scored in 5 away matches, and he says, yeah, but we've had a lot of opportunities, like against Monza, for example. And Mazzarri loves to Mazzarri loves to bring that up, that Monza game with all those opportunities. But at the end of the day, man, like you gotta let that go. That was over a month ago now. That's a month and a half ago. So yeah, come on, man. You have to let it go. Um, you can't keep talking about that. But he says definitely we are not super lucid in front of goal. Then they inform him that Osimhen lost the final, and they say, well, do you expect Osimhen to come back more motivated after that or less motivated? And he says, I really hope so. For example, Anguissa, he also lost AFCON, and he came back very, very motivated. So yeah, that was the response from Mazzarri. The Champions League, can it help you overcome these difficulties? And he says, I really hope so. We will have the entire team available to us. Hopefully, we have a bit of luck in the Champions League. If we do well, it can also really help us in the Serie A. So that was, I don't know, I don't know exactly if that's going to be the case. Is the Champions League going to help us in the Serie A, or is it just going to be an extra, thought that we have to, an extra challenge that we have to deal with? Like, imagine we get past Barcelona and then we go and play against Man City. and then Man City trash us. Is that better for us or worse? I don't know. Um, so we have to be very careful, and then maybe concentrating just on the Serie A could be good for us. They ask him how's Kvara as a number 10, and he says he did it, last weekend as well, and with his national team, he's very good in that position. And they say, have you seen the league table? You are ninth, I believe. And he says, of course, but I wasn't here since the start of the season, and I'm doing my best to be better. I mean, that's true, Mazzari. You weren't here at the start of the season, but technically, when Garcia left us, we were in a better position than now. So that's also not a not a good excuse. So that's Mazzari, guys. That's unfortunately the case. Barcelona, by the way, tied 3-3 against Granada, not against Girona, but against Granada, who are second to last. So if you think losing to Milan is bad, tying against Granada, who have only 13 points in La Liga, that's pretty bad too. Um, but Barcelona sit third in the league. They have 51 points, whereas we only have 35. So they have objectively been better than us this season, but they're also struggling a lot. Um, Flo saying, thank you so much. An amazing video on ADL today. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Um, you're an angel for doing these post game lives every time. They're really like therapy. Last season they made every win feel more special. And this season we all need the therapy sessions. Yeah, it's true. Um, by the way, Mike, thanks for the $2 donation. I didn't see it earlier because I was reading the conference and trying to sign into my. I was still in the background, by the way, trying to sign into my Excel, and for whatever reason it wasn't working because I wanted to show you guys the thing, but I guess I'll do it on another time. Anyways, Mike says, what is your favorite NFL team? LOL. So I guess he supports the Vikings. Um, I don't have a strong opinion on the NFL, to be honest with you. But um, I'll go with I'll go with the Patriots. I mean, I had one NFL game in my life, and for whatever reason, maybe because I think Brady was playing there, I picked that team. So yeah, I guess Patriots. But I have literally like no strong opinion about that stuff. Um, L.K says, I go season by season. Why when you bring back Amsi Glance in so on time passes, players getting old and losing form? Rui isn't good. That's true. Season by season. Um, Rui, he's coming to an age where you might get a big drop off. It's normal at that age. Oliveira came back today, and I think that's a huge piece of good news for us because we need options, as many options as we can get, and so yeah, that's something that I think we've been waiting for a long time. Oliveira to come back. He was a starter for Mazzarri in his first game when we won against Atalanta, and then since then he's been injured. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there for the video. I know this video, um, I don't know, it's a bit shorter, a bit less analysis, but I'm honestly exhausted. I'm honestly exhausted, and I am really frustrated with Napoli. Just seeing them be just the typical Napoli of this season. It seemed like a Garcia type of Napoli, the one that just is uninspiring for large parts of the game. It just sucked the energy out of me. And usually these lives bring me a lot of therapy, as well. It's true for me as well. I really enjoy them even when we lose because they bring me a lot of therapy. But for whatever reason, today, that wasn't the case. I still feel just very upset. Usually after I speak for an hour, I'm kind of feeling a little better about things, but I don't know. Today, I think because deep down, I thought we were gonna win. I really thought we were gonna turn things around. You win at the last minute against Verona. You think something's gonna be different. Something's in the air. Players are coming back from injury. AFCON is finally over, and then it's like, nope, same old, same old. So yeah, that's that's really frustrating. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Get some rest, Dom. Yeah, I need it. Also, um, tomorrow is a weekday. It is a Monday morning. I have to get up early, and I bet you guys as well if you're watching from Europe. So yeah, I'll let you guys go to bed as well. Have a good night, everybody. Forza Napoli. What, did you just say Forza Napoli Milan sempre? What? That doesn't make any sense. Uh, but yeah, have a good sleep, guys. See you tomorrow, and hopefully, this season just finishes as soon as possible. Please, please, just kill me now. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys. Ciao.